to the Joburg Council, where we understand both motions of no confidence against Johannesburg Mayor Dr. Mpho Phalatse have been withdrawn. Mpho is standing by.
Played out.
They say you are still not safe, though. They are going to regroup come January, going to sponsor another no confidence motion in you. And seeing that they managed to block your request to request the 2 billion rand short-term loan, chances are they still have the numbers. They will get rid of you come January.
Well, there's always a threat of a motion of no confidence in our politics. We've got a democratic society and we've got to give people the opportunity to do so. I have, of course, a concern about the frequency of these motions, and this is something that we will be tabling to our Rules Committee. Ekurhuleni has a 6-month rule. Parliament has a 6-month rule. The city of Johannesburg has no limit to the number of motions of no confidence that can be brought, and that's problematic. It does not speak well for stability, and that's something that really urgently needs to be looked at. Our focus now will be to make every day count. Every day that we've been given to serve our residents will be used exactly for that reason. Yes, we did not approve the 2 billion rand loan yesterday. We were quite disappointed. We're not yet in a crisis situation, as the Group CFO explained. We will be meeting, in fact, tomorrow. We will be convening to look at what can be done. The good news is that Operation Mpho is in full swing. We are collecting revenue. We're seeing big owers coming to debtors coming to the city to pay us what they owe us. So we're quite excited about that. There's a 47 million rand pledge from the NHLS. There's a 40 million rand that's come through as well today, I think, from Gauteng e-government, and so on and so forth. And we're watching the Department of Health as well very closely. We've given them until tomorrow to pay something towards the 240 million rand debt. So with every day that comes, we continue to collect, and we're going to continue with this operation, hopefully increase revenue collection. However, that's not the only thing we're going to do to deal with the financial situation. We continue to strengthen controls, internal controls, to look at expenditure and so on and so forth. We've got a whole team that is led by the MMC for Finance and the Group CFO in partnership with myself and the City Manager to look at what everybody can do to contribute, including looking at areas where we've not been collecting revenue. For instance, JPC, we know the Joburg Property Company has many properties, over 29,000. We're not realizing as much revenue from the entity as we could, and we've already started dealing with that. That's one thing. The other issue is outdoor advertising. It's one area that we realize we're not realizing as much revenue as what we should. So all the MMCs have quite a bit of work on their hands. This work was going to unfold, and I believe that the situation we find ourselves in is probably a blessing in disguise, because we're going to move with speed and make sure that we don't find ourselves in a crisis situation.
Mayor, what do you make of the fact that the reason why you only in your position now is because of, the political battles between the ANC and the EFF in Ekurhuleni? And, when it comes to you saying that they didn't have the numbers today, one would say, like my colleague is saying, that they do indeed have the numbers because of what we saw yesterday, the voting in of, the voting out of that DBSA loan. What are you planning to do to ensure that come January, when they've promised to bring back this motion, that, your bloc will be solid?
They did not have the numbers to oust me. They didn't have the numbers to oust even the chairpersons that they wanted to remove. So yes, I still say I believe they did not have the numbers. The DBSA loan item was a separate item altogether. Politics is a numbers game, and every day things can change in politics. We've seen it. We've been a year in office. I was elected on the 22nd of November last year. There's been so many changes. We've seen people move from one side of the council to another, and that will continue to happen possibly until the end of term. Nothing is certain. So I also wouldn't be so sure if I were them that they'd be able to bring it back and succeed.
What is your end game, Executive Mayor? Because you as the DA as well as Action SA, you don't have enough to retain you in your position. You would require the minority parties, and for now we know that you enjoy the support of the Freedom Front Plus, I think ACDP as well as the IFP. How are you going to convince particularly other minority parties who at some point were with you to bring back the vote to retain you in the top position?
We continue to reach out. Talks are ongoing, even at a national level. Our leaders are talking on an ongoing basis with parties that are even in the opposition bloc to see how we can strengthen and stabilize this coalition. So that commitment remains. We continue to reach out. But in the meantime, we continue to focus on service delivery and be thankful for every day that we've been given to continue to go.
Is the EFF off the table? We know the FedEx has actually rejected ever working with them.
The FedEx rejected formal working relations with the EFF, but we know that at a local level, we work with all political parties. So, for instance, if we need to pass a budget, if we need to approve an IDP, we will approach all parties. We will not exclude even a single party. These parties represent constituencies in the city of Johannesburg. The EFF has 29 seats in our council of 270 that represents constituencies that require services from us, and their voice is important, and we will continue to listen to that voice.
Any talks with the Patriotic Alliance?
I believe that the Patriotic Alliance is confused, personally, and I will leave it at that.
What's on your diary tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we've got a few things lined up. In fact, myself and MMC Sun will be launching or unveiling Fleet at Pick It Up. We're quite excited about that, new Fleet. That's just one of the things. The Joburg Open is ongoing until Sunday. More than 50 countries around the world watching the tournament right here in the city of Johannesburg. We believe that we will be attracting investment as we showcase what our city is really all about. So we're very important about the economic stimulation that comes with that. We will be continuing with that tomorrow in the morning as well. We will cut the ribbon for the Joy of Jazz, another big event, one of our flagship programs. It's coming again. It's starting tomorrow, and the day after that, another one that's boosting tourism and economic activity in our city. So a very busy city, a very busy weekend. We're very excited.